So here we go. We're going to finish up double angles today. You're going to have a little something you're going to have to turn in today. Oh, facile, facile, facile. Yes. You better pay attention. Yeah, this is so easy. For real, I'm trying to give you something good to start with before we hit half angles. All right. Yes. Now, double angle formulas. This is the last day on double angles, folks. You got to get it the first time, okay? Now, if you did not get the second example from yesterday, that's fine, whatever. I'm going to give you a couple examples here, and then, folks, pretty much it is what it is. You either get it or you don't. I don't mean that to sound harsh, but this is very simple, very simple. Here's the way this problem would look. If cosine of x is equal to 2/3, and 3 pi over 2 is less than x is less than 2 pi, then find sine of 2x. I want you to look at that. It's just written a little bit different. If cosine x is equal to 2/3 and 3 pi over 2 is less than x is less than 2 pi, then find sine of 2x. Now this is just a little bit different from what you saw yesterday. And I'm setting you up for what you're going to see here in just a little bit, okay? Pardon me? You still have to do the prep work. You still have to set up that triangle. So first thing we need to determine, which quadrant does this angle x fall? Okay, cosine is cosine, sine, and tangent. Cosine is positive. What's up with that 3 pi over 2 less than x less than 2 pi? What's that mean? No. Mm-mm. Why? How do you know that? 3 pi over 2, if you remember back from your unit circle, 3 pi over 2 is down here at the base of the y-axis, and 2 pi is where? Here. So, hello, which quadrant does this angle fall? The fourth quadrant, which means now, here's my angle in the fourth quadrant. My sines, S-I-G-N-S's, are plus what? Minus minus. So cosine is positive, sine is negative, tangent is negative, right on? Draw the triangle. Any random triangle will do. Just assign your x to a corner. And then we're going to fill in this prep work triangle using what values? My 2 and my 3. Where does my 2 go? Where does my 3 go? It says that the cosine of this angle x is 2 over 3. What does that mean? 3 is the hypotenuse. 2 is the what? It's the adjacent, which is the bottom or the upright side? The bottom. Very good, y'all. Ooh, ooh. How do I find the third side? How come? Because it's not a triple. Very good, class. Add a second block. 3 squared is equal to 2 squared plus x squared. What's x? Root 5, correct? Y'all with me? Okay. So let's look at it. Remember, we got this, right? We got to find what? Sine of the double angle. So we need a formula. Sine of the double angle. The formula off of your card is 2 sine x cosine x, isn't it? Pretty simple. What do we have to be real careful about here? You have to be mindful of your signs. This is what we did yesterday. Because we only did one example, and then I gave you 2 homework problems. We're just going to finish it up today, and then you've got a little something you're going to turn into me. Okay? Now, what is the sine value? Be careful. Give me the actual value. The sine of x opposite over hypotenuse. Why is it negative? Because it says sine is negative. Boom. So I'm going to throw it in there. What's your cosine value? Some horse called a horse. Well, it was given to you. Boom. Right there it is. 2 over 3. And if you just wanted to double check, hello, cosine is positive. So, folks, multiply straight across. Cross cancel if you can. You have to put the negative in first. Yes, ma'am. Tangent. Your tangent is negative. Okay. What's the fraction? What's the value? How many of you, excuse me, got negative 4 root 5 over 9? And comprende why? Hands up high. Questions? Okay. All right. None? Love the way y'all just, I look at you, you look away. Please don't call on me. What do you think? I don't know. Stop. Y'all are bad. It is. So, y'all know y'all were like this in elementary school. Pick me, I got it, pick me. And y'all are like, when you did that, they have to say it. Or they don't call on you. Yeah. And then that makes you want to go kick them in the leg. Because that's what little kids do. Can't elbow drop in elementary school, Zachariah. You have to wait till high school. Hey, seriously, no questions on this? What are we really doing? Yes, it is what we did yesterday for like 5 seconds. But the prep work is old stuff. A formula, who can't plug numbers into a formula? The most difficult part could be what? Getting what correct? The signs. When I tell you, you got to be careful with your signs, you have to be. And folks, it's no partial credit on these signs. You either getting it right or you getting it wrong. There's no partial credit on this. Okay? Here we go. Let's look at another one. If sine of x is equal to negative 4/5 and cosine of x is less than 0, I want you to take a few minutes and I want you to find all sine of the double angle, cosine of the double angle, and tangent of the double angle. Take the time to do all 3 of these. And if you need to check with somebody beside you, in front of you, behind you, do that. But you try these on your own. If you could do the homework, then you can do these 3 problems. And I think I even set this up for you nicely. Yeah, I did. Again, is be mindful of your signs. If you get your signs correct in the beginning, then the answers that you get will be correct. They will be what they need to be. Okay? Now, I've got to do a little prep work first. I've got my sine is negative. So cosine, sine, and tangent. Sine is negative. Cosine is what? It's less than 0, which means it's negative. Well, if I'm in the quadrant that's negative, negative, tangent has to be positive. What quadrant am I in? I'm over here, right? Quadrant 3. All right, so triangle. Any random triangle, it says that my sine value is 4/5. Do I put a negative 4 in there? Why not? Can have a negative length. Now, guys, you shouldn't have had to do the Pythagorean equation, but if you did, it's okay. What's your third side? It's the 3, 3, 4, 5 triple. Why is it not negative 4, folks? Can't have a negative length. Okay? You never can have a negative length. That's not possible. Now, length, distance. Here we go. The formula for sine of the double angle is it 2 sine cosine? All right, so 2 times the sine of this is 4 over 5. But when I look up here, sine is negative, so I'm going to put my negative symbol in there. Stop talking. Cosine of x, stop talking. Looking. 3 over 5, right? When I look over here, I notice that my cosine is negative, so I'm going to make it negative. Now, folks, look. What is a negative times a negative? It's a positive. So I've got 2 times negative 4, which is negative 8. Negative 8 times negative 3, which is positive 24. 1 times 5 is 25. How many of you got the sine of the double angle is 24 over 25? Hands up. Now, I want you to look. That sine value is positive. But the sine value up here is negative. Why? Because, be more...
It makes the same length of the triangle, but it makes it odd.
Why?
Because
it's a double angle. If my angle X happened to be, and I'm just pulling a number out of the air, 42 degrees. I almost did. Oh, okay. All right. Let's say that my angle X was 42 degrees. Then what would its double angle be? What's twice as big as 42? 84 degrees. Now, think about it. All right, let's go with something that's logical with these. Negative, negative. Give me an angle measure that is negative, negative. Down here in the third quadrant, 181. It's negative, negative, right? If I had to, do you guys agree with that? Yeah. Okay. Do you understand why? Because it's past 180. So it means it's in a third quadrant, okay? Folks, if my angle X was 181 degrees, then its double angle would be what? 2 times 181 is 362 degrees. Where does the 362 degree angle fall? Back in the first quadrant. So its sines, SIG and S's, are all going to be what? Positive, positive, positive. Aren't they? Think of it that way. That's how we're getting these. And look, if 362 degrees, make sure that's a 1. That's in the first quadrant. Is my sine value of the double angle in the first quadrant? Is that a first quadrant value? How do I know? Yes. Because it's positive. So that value is legit because it's a positive value. Okay? That's why I told you it is so important to get these signs right here, the negative 4 and the negative 3, the negative 4/5 and negative 3/5. It is so important to get those signs correct from the get-go. So you don't have to do all of this thinking right here. I don't want to have to do that. Do you? You don't want to have to do other prep work, do you? Don't think you do. Hey, let's think about the other one, cosine. Cosine of 2x. Did y'all use the cosine squared minus sine squared? Okay. We still should get the same answer no matter which formula you use, correct? Okay. My cosine value, I can pull it right from this other. My cosine value was negative 3/5 squared. Subtract the sine squared value, which is going to be negative 4/5 squared. Folks, you've got to know order of operations, and at this level, not make careless mistakes with your signs. This is just order of operations. Negative 3/5 squared, you should not be putting that in your calculator, is positive 9/25, yes? And then we are subtracting. Do not plus a positive right here because I've got to take care of that squared value. What is negative 4/5 squared? Positive 16/25. Do I have the first value subtract the second value? Yes. And I have 9 minus 16, which is negative 7/25. Okay? Now, look at it. 181 degrees, double angle. How did that happen? How did that happen? Because it could be 269 degrees. It's 269 degrees in the third quadrant. Yes. What's 2 times 269? Something huge, something big, I don't know. Big? 538? You sure? Okay. So, is my value correct? Negative 7/25? How many of you had negative 7/25? It is correct. That is your cosine of the double angle. Okay? Don't question the sign of your product, of your answer. Don't question that. You need to be very careful about the values within. Now, tangent. How many of you plugged into one of the formulas? Anybody? Which formula did you use for tangent? What is that? Did you guys use that? Okay. You know I'm going to go old school on that, right? Okay. So here we go. 2 times. What's my tangent value? Some of the horse caught a horse taking oats away. 4/3, which is positive. 4/3. Divided by 1 minus 4/3 squared. Y'all cool with that? Yeah? Okay. It's just calculating, simplifying. 8/3 divided by, I know it's going to be 9/9 minus 16/9. How do I know that? Because 1 is 9/9 and I want to have like denominators, yes? Okay. Keep going. 8/3 divided by negative 7/9. And now I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. This is a pain in my hind end. Is it a pain in yours? Oh, look, I'm not using a calculator. How many of you had 24 over negative 7? Okay, high five to you. Boom. Yes, ma'am. Why? Because that's what tangent is. Oh, shortcut. Yes, I'm serious. And you can't appreciate it until you do something like this right here. Write this down. Shortcut. Why is the? Ooh, hold on. Because it's a positive times a negative number. Okay. Shortcut. Write this down. If tangent of x is sine of x divided by cosine of x, then tangent of 2x, tangent of the double angle, tangent of the triple angle, tangent of the quadruple angle is equal to, you tell me. It is so funny. Ha 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 ha. 2x. Because you will never appreciate shortcuts until after you have to go through all the work.
So we take the factors of sine 2x and then cosine 2x.
Let's see what we got. Let's see if indeed it works. And those of you with the brackets, like you will tear this up. You'll have your value fast. I'm not, because I still have to go old school because I'm stupid and I have to. But it's the sine value So watch this. Sine of 2x over cosine of 2x. What was our sine value? 24 over 25 divided by, what was my cosine value? If you do the bracket thing, you're going to do this fast, and y'all know I don't understand the bracket thing, so I'm just going to go old school. 24 over 25, it is for you. I don't know why I can't see it, but I can't. I mean, this isn't difficult at all. That's not right. 7 over, that's not right. I did 7 over 25. 7 over 25. 7 over 25. Which is 7 over 25. Which is multiplied by 25 over, there we go. Look at here, look at here, look at here. Boom, boom. 24 over negative 7. How about them apples? Do you notice anything? It is quite easy. Yes, it is. Yeah, and I don't even have to figure anything because look at the numbers. Look at the numbers in this fraction. Yes, you may. Absolutely, you may. Yes. You can write a new tangent formula, but hold that thought, okay? I'm going to put that on the next slide. Notice something about these numbers up here in this ratio versus the numbers we got for our final answer. Where did they come from? Where did the 24 and the negative 7 come from? The numerators. Look, folks, if you want to do that right there, and that be your work for tangent of the double angle, I'm totally fine with that. Seriously. Because somebody asked first block, do I have to show? I don't have to show any work. I get it. But if I'm grading your work and you don't show anything, what am I going to suspect? I'm going to suspect that you've copied somebody's paper, and I don't want to do that. I do not want to falsely accuse you of something. And remember, I have to believe that we all have halos and wings. No, 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 don't want that. Don't want to know those things. I believe that we all have halos and wings, okay? So, put on your card, if you will, add to your card, under the tangent of the double angle, that, I don't care how you do it. If you want to do it that way, if you want to write it as a fraction, you absolutely may do that. It's just one more way that you can use or find the tangent of the double angle. Now, let me ask you this. Because all y'all smarty McFarties. What if I gave you a problem and I just told you find tangent of the double angle? I didn't tell you to find the sine of the double angle or the cosine of the double angle. Then use which formula? The first one, the 2 tangent x over 1 minus tangent squared. Then you kind of have to. Do you have to, though? No, you don't have to. Because it's based upon, depending upon what information you're given. Because it can all be derived different ways. Using all those Pythagorean identities that we've already used. Because I can do any type of substitution to make it work. Okay? Any other questions? How do you feel about this? Yes? It's based upon the information you're given. Okay? If you were given that, now I'm just making this up, okay? If sine is negative 2/3 and the cosine of x is greater than 0, how are we going to determine? You see me do the same thing every time, okay? I come over here and I go, okay, ordered pair. My sine value is negative, right? So I'll put it here because I know that's cosine and sine. My cosine, what's this mean? If cosine is greater than 0, it's positive. So which quadrant is that? Quadrant 4. That's how I determine. Okay? If you are given angles like we were here, this right here, where's that come from? If you don't know what, then you won't understand this. If you don't know the unit circle, you won't get that right. And don't come asking me. That's something you ought to have known back in January. Not trying to be a hateful tale about it. I'm just saying you should know the unit circle by now. Okay? True? Does that help? That is totally what I do. And every single time I do this right here. I set up my little chart, and then I think, okay, here's my coordinate plane. I write down quadrant 4. And that's how I determine. Any other questions? So what now? Classwork. That's for a grade. You may use your card. You may use your notes. You may not use each other. And you may not use me. I have paper that you want lined or unlined. Well, unlined paper's always back there in the pink crates. I will have to get a notebook out for you sweet, sweet children who do not have your own lined paper. I do. Hold on. All right, folks, look right here, please. That's all. How many points are these going to be? 33.33. Total of? Total of 75. Yes, ma'am. Chelsea, good call. Yeah, total of 75 points. Now, I'm going to spot you 25. Only way you would get a 25 is if you miss every single problem. And how could you get a 0? Well, you just go, I ain't doing it. That's how you get a 0. That's how you get a 0. Okay? Worst you can do is a 25. Unless you bow up and act like you're going to do something. Then I give you a 0. Got it? When's this due? Today before you leave. Folks, I need quiet in this classroom. Your classmates need quiet. No,